get your required score in exam. Oh, I am. Okay. Okay. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to spot and apply correct experience as collocations. Very sure. Collocation is how words are used naturally, how words collocate. In case of preposition, how you collocate the appropriate preposition with the noun. Anti-trap defensive strategy by the eliminate common examiner traps designed to trick students. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, what is preposition? So many students are taught in school that preposition is the word that shows the relationship between the noun or pronoun in a sentence. That's exactly what you're taught in school. Yeah. It's a structural word that establishes the exact spatial, temporal, logical, or directional relationship between two nouns. Yeah, it shows the relationship. Without preposition in every sentence, the noun and pronoun will be scattered. You won't know the kind of relationship that exists between them. So that's what preposition does in sentence. Now, why do we have ITS university tests this so heavily? They aren't testing whether you know the basic grammar. They are benchmarking your precisions under pressure. They test you on two main fronts. They want to check collocation because so many students are basically interested in words that are pleasing to their ears. But let me shock you, it doesn't work like that. It might not necessarily be pleasing to your ears, but so far they collocate well, that will be the answer. So that's why it's important to know the rules, you memorize the words that collocate together in order to pass your exam. So let's move on to the key strategy and rules. The first one is the time, the ones that talks about the time. We use arts for precise moments like 5 o'clock p.m. When you're talking about the precise moment, you use heart for that. It can be at 3 a.m., at 2 p.m. But we use on for specific days. So you have to pay attention to them. We use on for specific days. So when you're talking about specific days and dates, yeah, you use on for that. For example, on Monday and Tuesday, on on 12th, so you use on for specific ones, days and dates. Please take cognizance of that. In when you have extended span, that's a longer span, you use in for that. So the difference between on and in is used for an extended span. For example, in 2026, in July, so it's talking about a longer period of time, but a specific moment or a precise moment to use on for specific days and dates In for extended span. The next one is space, place. Place at is for a specific local point, a specific local point, for example, at the bus station, at the station, at the traffic jam. When you have a specific local point, you use at for that to represent that. In a contained area, like in the hall. On is for what? When you have a flat surface on the decks, that's when you use on. When you have a flat surface, you use on for that. So the next principle that we'd look at is the ones that collocate together. Let me try and minimize. So we want to look at the ones that collocate together. So use depend on. You cannot say depend off. Depend on, it means when you totally, like something totally depend on something, like when something is surrendered to something, the other thing. So you don't use depend off. It doesn't collocate well. So it's important you memorize it. It's depend on. Like I depend on my parents. I depend on hard work to succeed in my exam. Listen to something. You don't listen at something. You listen to music. You listen to something. You can listen to music. You can listen to podcasts. So listen to something. Belong to, that's when you want to indicate possessions of something. For example, that pen belongs to Azan. That pen belongs to Azan because that pen is what's one. So it belongs to Azan. Please mute your mic. Wait, mute your mic. Okay. So as we were saying, yeah, belong to indicates possession. When they are talking about the possession of something, you use belong to for that. Agree with something, when you are in agreement with something, yeah, it could be with people, with an opinion. So you agree with something. Interested in, you don't say interested at. Yeah, I'm interested in music. I'm interested in singing. I'm keen on singing. So use keen on together. So it's important you know the collocations that collocate well. So these ones are adjective plus what? Prepositions. The first one is what? Verb plus preposition. This is obstructing it. Okay, verb plus preposition, you can see it. Listen to music. Belong to indicate possession, agree with people. So you can see depend is verb plus preposition, listen is verb, belong to is verb. So it's always important you understand the word form. Whenever you are presented with a question that you have to get the preposition, it's important for you to look at the verb the word form before the preposition, is it an adjective? Is it a verb? Is it a noun? So that would give you what you're looking for. Good at something, responsible for, whenever they are asking you, for example, in a job interview, they can tell you what is your role at your workplace. Yeah, you can say, I'm responsible for the day-to-day running of the organization. So you cannot say I'm responsible in. So it's important you memorize all these collocations. So you can see here, we have verb plus preposition, this adjective plus preposition. Adjective, interested in, afraid of, good at, responsible for. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, now let's look at the exam strategy. How to fast answer fast. That's why we are here. We want to look at how to answer the question very fast. First, you're going to identify the structural relationship. First, you have to determine if the sentence needs a link for time, place, or fixed description. You want to check, does it need descriptions on time, place, or fixed description? So that's what you want to check the link. Is it linked with the time? Is it linked with the place? Is it linked with a fixed description? That would automatically give you an inspo of what you're looking for. The second one is for you to prioritize collocations over meaning. Yeah, please forget meaning. Might not make sense to your hearing, and they can typically what collocate together. So that's why you should prioritize collocations. If you don't know collocations before, try to start learning collocation. Maybe after the lesson, I'm going to give you some words that will collocate well together with with prepositions. That way you can really get acquainted with the lesson. So do not look at eyes, for example, depends with on. Yeah, depend binds with on. It marries together. It doesn't matter what you think it translates to. Phonetically speaking, depends on something, not depend in something. Please forget about what you're saying, what you're trying to relate. Please don't overcomplicate it. Just look at the prioritize the collocations. You know, depends on something. It like depends on, it collocate well, responsible for. So don't look at it that, oh, this doesn't make sense to my hearing. This is the answer. No, just typically look at the ones that collocate well. The next one is systematic elimination. Quickly drop options that simply do not exist in formal academic language or academic English. Whenever you see options that does not exist, kindly eliminate them, like you cross them out. Okay, so let's look at common traps to defeat. The first one was semantic translation errors. Trying to translate your mother tongue directly into English prepositions, it really works. Please just forget about that. Do not translate your mother tongue. Your mother tongue could be, yeah, it's your native language that your parents speak, that you are literally native at. For example, some people are Yoruba speakers, so they literally will try to translate their mother tongue to Yoruba to English. Please, it doesn't work for preposition. Don't do that. Another one is confusing temporal boundaries, mixing up on, in, at. Please don't do that. Don't mix on, it, at. I told you on is on a surface. In it explains a longer span. At is at a specific place. So it's always important you understand their functions. Ignoring nuances in fixed expressions. Substituting a synonyms like using for when the phrase requires of. Please don't do that. If you have any question, please do not hesitate to drop them on the chat box. Okay, let's look at some questions. The first one, she is interested dash learning English. You want to, I told you before, the answer, you want to look at the word. So here we have an adjective. She is interested. You know, interested collocates well with what in, not interested for or interested on. So you can simply say that it's very easy if you can follow all the rules we explained. So the adjective interested systematically what collocates with preposition in when denoting involvement or focus. Other variants do not form proper pairing. You cannot say interested on, interested at, interested for, no. So you can simply eliminate others and what opt for what in. Look at this one now. He depends dash his parents for financial support. Some students will want to choose it depends in like, oh, this sounds so sweet. But please don't choose it depends in. You know, depends on collocate well together. Depends on. The verb depends categorically demands the preposition on or upon when indicating reliance on an external force or person. So you can also say depends upon, but depend upon is not here, we just have on. So depends on is the most suitable. So that's the answer. Please don't say depends by. I think they say abide by something, but not depends by. The next one, the books belongs dash my sister. You know, is what belongs to. Belongs to. Belongs to something. That is, this person owns something. When someone owns something, you want to claim ownership on something, use depend or belongs to. That's why I said that you should always check the word before you answer the question. The next one, the meeting was held on, not held in or held at, by, no, held on. It shows the words on, it shows the word specific day at the week, always taking the preposition. Whenever you are using specific day at a week, it takes the preposition what on, according to standard time principle. Held on Monday. You know, we are talking about Monday now. It's a specific day of the week. So we use on Monday. Held on. Another one. This is simply easy. It's simply easy. She is afraid dash said, afraid of. The emotive adjective afraid naturally and structurally pairs with of to signal the source of the anxiety or fear. Afraid of something. She is afraid of spiders. You don't say afraid on, no, or afraid from, or afraid with. You say afraid of. The next word it was arrive at. That's a specific location. When you're talking about a specific fixed physical coordinates, building or regional meetings location, like airport, bus station, bus stop, you use what? At. We arrive at the airport late. Next is what? He is good at. Yeah, we use good at. Proficiency in academic disciplines, sports, or general skills requires what? Construction, good at, not good in. Whenever you want to show the proficiency of someone in something, proficiency has to do with when someone is someone is an advanced learner in something. You use good at to show that the person is proficient at that thing. He is good at physics. He is good at chemistry. Next is what? Agree with. So it's important you know all these collocations. She agreed with my proposal. She agreed with my proposal. Yeah, it's the past tense. Yeah, agree with, agreed with. Here we have what? Verb and what? Preposition. The verb is what? Agreed. Preposition is what? With. The general standard is agreed with someone, agreed to, plan, suggestion, or proposals. Under typical exams format, with is the word dominant target. So it's good you want to use with. She agreed with my proposal. So you want to follow what the general standard. Use agree with my proposal. The training is coming dash Lagos. Lagos active was physical what displacement, movement, or heading towards a specific landmark, destination, or demands what the preposition what to. Whenever you are heading towards, there's a movement, or you are what heading toward a specific landmark or destination you want to use to. For example, what the train is coming to Lagos. It has to do with you commuting, moving. So you used to coming to. He apologized for being late. He apologized for being late. When you're expressing regret or actions for an action, utilize apologize for plus gerund. Now representing what the offense being, that's the gerund there. He apologized for being late. So gerund, yeah, be is carrying ing, so it made it was gerund. He apologized. Apologized is a verb in the past form. Apologized for something. Okay, we have some practice questions. Can you attempt these questions? Kindly attempt these questions. Let's see your mastery on them. Okay. She is married to a doctor. She is married to a doctor. The adjective married strictly what demands to. So I didn't write before the preposition that you're looking for. So the word form is what? Married. Married is what? An adjective. So strictly demands what to when referencing to what partner. So you when you want to reference to a partner that something is married, you use something is married to something, not married with or married in or married for. So married to, never say married with. Another one, they laughed. Please mute your mics. They laughed at the joke. They laughed at the joke. The verb laugh targets the word what? Target the cause of amusement using at. So they laugh at because of his an amusement. He is responsible for the project. So you can see that if you can memorize the collocation, look at the words that I told you that please ignore the ones that sound very interesting or sound some students will literally go for something that sounds pleasing to their ears. No, kindly be straight. Look at the rules. Does this word collocate well with this? Does it follow the rules that we explained in the center? That way you can answer them correctly. Okay, let's see more questions. Yes, questions again. Kindly attempt them. Please be fast. Just giving you a minute. You know, the exam, in the exam section, yeah, it's important you are always time conscious. I'm giving you the rules. So kindly drop your answers. Yeah, the answers are coming in. Good, good. Okay, let's quickly do it together. The keys are on the table. The keys are on the table. Yeah, we do. I told you that the table is what whenever you use, yeah, when something is on the flat what surface, you use on for that. It has what physical support on a flat surface dictates what on the table. So you don't say in the table, you say on the table as on a flat surface. Discussed the issue in, it discussed an issue in detail. The answer in the idiomatic phrase indicating depth or scope is always in details. It's an idiomatic phrase. When you are talking like an in-depth, you use in details, not at details or on details or with details. In details. She succeeded in passing the exam. Succeeded in passing the exam. The verb succeed systematically collocates with in, followed by a gerund. I told you it's among the rules we treated. Succeed is what? A verb. Succeeded, verb. That's a verb in its what? Past form. Succeeded in passing. Passing here is what? A gerund. She succeeded in passing the exam. Okay, let's see more questions. Please be fast. Yeah, thank you. Can see that. Yeah, home. Okay. He is different. He is different from his brother. The adjective different requires the comparative preposition from. Different from. Avoid saying different than. That doesn't even sound cool. Or different so. Different from his brother. That's the correct preposition to use in that case. The cat jumped over the wall. Jump over the wall. Over means what? Movement involving what? Scaling an obstacle. Yeah, whenever you are talking about a movement that involves scaling, so you use what? Over for that. The cat jumped over the wall. They are excited about. They are excited about the trip. The adjective excited shows anticipation using something. Yeah, when you want to show anticipation, you're anticipating for something you also use about. So let me see. Do we still have another questions? Okay, so let's look at the key takeaway of this lesson. The key takeaway. First is word collocation means the pen. Preposition are mostly idiomatic fixed partnership. Memorize patterns, not contextual translation. Please don't get into contextual contextual translation. Just focus on what the patterns. Do these words marry together? Do these adjectives marry with this preposition, or do this word verb marries with this preposition? So you have to pay attention to the word frame that is preceding the preposition you want to look for. Is it a verb or an adjective? What is the meaning? Do they locate well? So that's why it's important